He's here. He's here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Marc Levin.
Hello, everybody. Marc Levin here. Our number, 877-381-3811, 877-381-3811. I'll be on Hannity TV, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Pacific Time tonight on the Fox News Channel. And I do this about every other week because I believe our country is really looking into the abyss. The world is on fire. And I need to step up my engagements to make the case as best as I can. I don't seek to do these things, but I will do these things. And as I was prepping for today's program, one of the things I couldn't stop thinking about was the article I read yesterday, but I chose not to read it on the air, but I'll just sum it up, of how these subhuman cockroaches, these Islamo-Nazi males, are brutalizing girls. How they're watching pornography, how they're committing the most heinous sex acts against them. 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, and 10-year-olds, and so forth. This is as much a war against civilization as it is a war specifically against little girls. Little girls. Whether it's in the Middle East, whether it's in Afghanistan, whether it's in Africa and Nigeria specifically, little girls. These are the Islamo-Nazis. And Barack Obama is the most absurd and preposterous person to be president in American history, certainly modern American history. Churchill called Chamberlain a patsy for the Nazis. Obama is a patsy for the Islamo-terrorists, the Islamo-Nazis. And all is twisting into a pretzel, trying to turn it on Christianity or Judeo-Christian principles or the American people, or creating straw men that we're all attacking all Muslims and so forth and so on. This is a man who will not step up and face down genocide. He won't do it. It's going to be left to the next president. And by then it's going to be 1,000 times more difficult. 1,000 times more difficult, as the Islamo-Nazis will have more power, more arms, more terrorists, more geography. Which means when we do engage, it'll cost more American lives, more casualties, more resources than would otherwise have been necessary. And let us not forget a point I made, which has been repeated since. Obama has blood on his hands because it is Obama who created this vacuum into which the Islamo-Nazis flowed. And it is Obama today who is building up the Islamo-Nazi regime in Tehran, which has built a caliphate, and will not confront the Islamo-Nazis, which is also building a caliphate, competing caliphates. But I started to go back and read something, as I have on the mind the horror, the screams of these little babies, wondering what's happening to them with these anyway. And I could have taken many, many paragraphs from this particular book, but I took two. From Anne Frank's diary. Anne Frank was born in 1929. For those who don't know, she was German, Jewish, a teenager. At the age of 13, she and her family and 4 others were basically hiding in the attic of her father's office building. And they hid there for 2 years. For 2 years. But the family was betrayed. And the Nazis came for them. They were arrested. Then they were deported. And she wound up in Bergen-Belsen. Now, at the time she was arrested, remember I said she was 13, she was arrested at 15. So she was 15 years old, and she died of typhus in Bergen-Belsen a couple of months before it was liberated. Her father survived, and he desperately looked for her diary, because she wrote a diary and did it studiously. This little girl. And the reason I'm thinking about her is because there are thousands and thousands of Anne Franks right now who are hiding out of fear, who've been brutalized, tortured, sexually and otherwise, murdered, sold into slavery time and again. Thousands and thousands of Anne Franks. It can never be said and will never be said by history that Barack Obama didn't know what was taking place when he refused to act. And don't give me these pinprick bombings. I don't want to hear about it. Sadly enough, that's all about cover and politics and positioning, because that's all Obama is ever about. But he helped unleash this mob of executioners and rapists and slimeballs. And he doesn't take any responsibility for it. Zero. But history will judge him. And he will be judged worse than Neville Chamberlain. Because he sees what's going on. He sees what's happening. And worse than doing nothing. Certainly next to nothing. He's now a patsy for it. Almost an apologist for it. Worried about words. Okay, I'll tell you what. Let's not call them Islamo-Nazis, Mr. Producer. Let's call them what? Bananas. I'll call them bananas. Okay, good. They're bananas. Does that make it better? Now will you go get them, Mr. President? Go get the bananas. Won't make any difference. I want to read this to you from Anne Frank's diary. This is February 3rd, 1944, while she's hiding in the attic with the Nazis all around. And by the way, she knows and her family knows that people are being taken away in rail cars to their deaths because word got back. She wrote, I've reached the point where I hardly care whether I live or die. The world will keep on turning without me, and I can't do anything to change events anyway. I'll just let matters take their course and concentrate on studying and hope that everything will be all right in the end. And 2 months later, she wrote, but the minute I was alone, I knew I was going to cry my eyes out. I slid to the floor in my nightgown and began by saying my prayers very fervently. Then I drew my knees to my chest. I lay my head on my arms, and I cried, all huddled up on the bare floor. A loud sob brought me back down to earth. This is a young girl who knew how perilous the situation was and knew of her likely death. And they were betrayed. An extremely brave little girl. The thousands and thousands of little girls in Nigeria, little beautiful girls, where did they all go when we were done hashtagging I don't even know what that means. I don't even know how to hashtag. I'm just behind it. But that said, remember that? 200 girls taken out of a school. What happened to them? A distant memory? All these little villages in Nigeria, and it's not just Nigeria, it's other places in Africa too. It's growing, it's spreading. These little girls, these little African girls, beautiful little girls, and they're all not Christian. Many of them are Muslim, adopting quote-unquote Western ways, not covering their faces, being educated. That's enough. Disappear. Gone forever. Over in the Middle East, people who aren't bothering anybody. Villages being taken over. No police force, no military to speak of. No way to defend themselves. These aren't fighters. This is pathetic. I'm talking about the Islamo-Nazis. I refuse to call them ISIS, unless I have to. Taking little girls, what kind of a sick piece of crap laughs, buys an 8-year-old little girl, and does these things to this child? And what is it about this president who can't react like a normal human being? That's right, I said it, and it's true. It's damn well true. I will not be silenced behind this microphone, and I've told you this for months, if not years. If only there had been conservative talk radio in the past. Well, here it is now. Now, these Islamo-Nazis are slaughtering innocent Muslims, Christians, Jews, and anybody else they can get their hands on. And they're particularly focused on little girls. Now, what the hell are we going to do about it? The answer is nothing. Nothing under this president.
Marc Levin.
Rudy Giuliani, while speaking at a private dinner featuring Governor Scott Walker, PJ Media reports, said this, according to Politico, quote, the former New York mayor speaking in front of the 2016 Republican presidential contender and about 60 right-leaning business executives and conservative media types directly challenged Obama's patriotism, discussing what he called weak foreign policy decisions and questionable public remarks when confronting terrorists. Giuliani said, I do not believe, and I know this is a horrible thing to say, but I do not believe that the president loves America. He doesn't love you, and he doesn't love me. He wasn't brought up the way you were brought up, and I was brought up through love of this country. And he went on to say, with all our flaws, we're the most exceptional country in the world. I'm looking for a presidential candidate who can express that, do that, and carry it out. And if it's you, Scott, I'll endorse you. And if it's somebody else, I'll support somebody else. All right. The earlier comments. I do not believe, and I know this is a horrible thing to say, but I do not believe that the president loves America. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been saying that since day one. And Rudy is correct. And as I've explained it time and again, if you seek to fundamentally transform America, then you do not love America. You don't love something and then fundamentally transform it. You don't love your wife or your girlfriend or your children or whatever and then fundamentally transform them. And there's absolutely zero in Obama's past to suggest that he loves America. From the people who he surrounded himself with voluntarily, Jeremiah Wright doesn't love America. He despises America. Bernardine Dorn and Bill Ayers went to war against America. They're domestic terrorists. Professor Khalidi, a mouthpiece for Yasser Arafat and the PLO, another one of his chums. He was indoctrinated in part, not only by his parents, his father, who left him, and his stepfather and his mother, radicals all, but by a Soviet communist sympathizer, Davis, while he was in Hawaii. So this is who Obama is. This is who he is. We have to accept it. It's a fact. And you do not love America if you conduct yourself throughout your entire life the way that Obama has. And I would like to remind Barack Obama, who continues to talk about Christianity and other faiths, Judaism and so forth, but Christianity in particular, as if there's some kind of moral equivalence with something that took place 700-800 years ago with something that's taking place right now. I would remind you, Mr. President, how much Christian blood is being spilled in one hellhole after another. From Afghanistan to the Middle East. How much Christian blood has been spilled? Mostly Christian blood, not exclusively, obviously, because our military is diverse. But it's mostly Christian because we are mostly a Christian country. That's right, I said it, and it's true. And that blood is being spilled to defend Muslims from other Muslims. And Obama does not stand up for the innocent Muslims, the victims. It is those of us who are speaking out against the Islamo-Nazis and demanding that something be done to them. We are the ones that speak for these victims. Muslims, Christians, Jews. We are the ones. Not Barack Obama. He can talk all he wants. Nothing he has said will matter in history, except to the extent it'll be a footnote used against him to demonstrate to future generations what a pathetic, pusillanimous, absurd man he is. I'll be right back.
Marc Levin, the voice liberals fear most. And you can call Mark at 877-381-3811.
You know, I've got a list of, let's see here, 7 Obama clips that Mr. Producer put together from today and yesterday at this phony violence summit. Now, who was at this violence summit? Any Holocaust survivors at this violence summit? How about any of the families from the Coptic Christians who were decapitated the other day? How about any of the family members from the Jordanian pilot who was burned to death? Any of them? How about any of the families with the Yazidi girls who are being mauled and molested and abused? I don't think so. This phony fraud PR event. And then Obama gets up and he lectures you and me. This is why I'm not going to play these clips. I'm not going to play these clips. He claims to be defending Islam. He's not. Like the Hamas front group, CARE, they pretend to be defending Islam. They're not. They're defending radical elements within Islam. In Obama's case, by his inaction. In CARE's case, by affirmative action. I mean, I can go on and on with these preposterous, outrageous statements by this absurd and preposterous man who's our president. Your president, not mine. I impeached him. But I'm not going to do it. What the hell for? You got John Kerry today throwing in. A dumber man there's never been. with those mashed potato injections in his face. What the hell? He's going, oh, well, there's silly debate in America about words and so forth. This silly debate because 90% of the country is saying, what the hell's wrong with these people? They won't even identify the enemy. You know, if these clowns were running the United States during the rise of Hitler, they would have had a violent summit. Oh, don't call them German Nazis. Oh, look. No, we can't do that. You know, all Germans aren't Nazis. I mean, what is this? Is this a game? And then there's this Jay Johnson. This guy I want you to hear. This guy's a Svengali behind the scenes working his deals on illegal immigration. Cut 9, go.
We in the administration and the government should give voice to the plight of Muslims living in this country and the discrimination that they face.
That's enough. Is your blood boiling about now? I don't care your background, your color, your genitalia, what you do with your genitalia. I don't care. Is your blood boiling about now? This is the only country really on the face of the earth where anybody's safe. It's one of the reasons people flee here. We don't have refugees leaving America to go to some other country. We have so-called refugees leaving their country and coming here. Americans aren't crawling over borders to get into any other country on the face of the earth. People are crawling over our borders to come here. And this a-hole, that's right, I said it. Talking about the plight of Muslims living in this country and the discrimination they face. Are you kidding me? Where do Muslims have it better off anywhere else in the world but the United States of America? Absolutely incredible. This is why Giuliani says, and I've been saying forever, no, a schmuck like this does not love America. You have to despise America to talk like this. You have to lie about her. You have to defame her. Absolutely incredible. Oh, the discrimination. The discrimination. The little babies, the 8-year-old girls in Iraq, in Syria, in Nigeria. What do you think they think about discrimination in America against Muslims? I think they trade places in 13 seconds. This man, Johnson, Obama, Holder, Jarrett, I can go on and on. They hate America. They have no appreciation for this country. This is a magnificent country. Absolutely magnificent. It's a diamond in a rough. It is a shining city on a hill. And we need and we want a leader, a statesman, who will tell the American people that constantly and tell the world that constantly. And if the Islamo-Nazis or any other enemy doesn't respect us, well then by God they ought to at least fear us. The world is going nuts. The terrorists are on the loose. Our enemies are on the loose because of Barack Obama. And I told you this years ago. They see an opening and they're moving on it at breakneck speed because there are vacuums all over the place. Power vacuums all over the place. No, that doesn't mean America has to fight every battle and every war. I get so tired of this idiotic, superficial argument. But yes, we do need to be engaged. And there's many options to be engaged. So that our children and our grandchildren aren't going to suffer through a draft or another huge, huge war because we waited too long. And I fear that's what's going to happen. After this clown is gone and out of the White House and has done all his damage to our country and to our allies, the spreading genocide, the spreading terror, then it's going to take a bigger army, a bigger effort, more American lives to put this down. Did you ever think that you'd hear from the Italians that they need to beef up their military, which has dwindled beyond belief? Because now they fear attacks leaking over their border? Well, it's true, and it can happen. Look how different the world looks in the last year, in the last 2 years. Look how differently it looks. Apparently our president's not worried about it. The idiot attorney general. I thought that jerk was gone by now. Hang her on. We're not at war. We're not in a war footing. No, we're at a police state footing with him. A police state footing. But this is World War III. World War III has begun, whether we like it or not. And it began some time ago when I announced that it began on Fox. Yes, it began. 2 caliphates are now in existence, and they are expanding as country after country falls. Did we forget that last week Yemen fell to the Iranian Islamo-Nazis? Did we forget that? Yemen's gone. Iraq's gone. Who's next? Egypt was almost gone. Thank God that Sisi stood up and put it down. And now we're undermining him. We're not giving him the weapons he needs. And by the way, one of these spokes idiots was asked if we support Egypt's effort to attack the Islamo-Nazis in Libya, and they wouldn't take a position. They wouldn't take a position. You isolationists out there, this is what it looks like. Isolationism as an ideology kills people. Lots and lots of people. Enslaves people. You can't be an isolationist in a world like this, where there are evil, evil people, ideologies, countries, and increasingly destructive weapons and technologies. You just can't pretend that you're going to be protected by 2 oceans, because you're not. And we should have learned that by now. And let me segue this into immigration. We should have learned by now that open borders is a disaster. We should have learned by now that when people overstay their visas, they should be deported. After all, we were hit on 9/11, as I recall. Well, several of those individuals overstayed their visas. Not all work visas, some of them other types of visas. And they stayed. And they weren't deported. And thousands of Americans died. And we have Republicans and Democrats acting like a bunch of morons, brain-dead morons, going on and on about how we've always had this kind of immigration. We have never had this kind of immigration, ladies and gentlemen. We've never had wave after wave after wave after wave, particularly with the threat now where we have terrorists. What is a terrorist? Terrorist is somebody who secretes themselves among the people, who doesn't fight with a particular country, an army of a country, and has as their aim the slaughter of innocent civilians. That's their purpose. And now we're going to import refugees from Syria. Under the most incompetent administration in modern American history, and I can assure you they won't know who these people are, and I can prove it because they're releasing people from our prisons today who've committed murder and rape and a host of other serious crimes while they've had them in captivity. And I'll prove it again. How many more terrorists is Obama going to release from Guantanamo Bay? This man's not serious. His administration isn't serious. No, but don't worry. The greatest threat facing our nation today, according to Obama and the Democratic Party, it's not the Islamo-Nazis, it's not the open borders, it's Benjamin Netanyahu. He's the greatest threat, you see? He's the greatest threat because he's about to come before the United States Congress, really come before you and me, the American people, and set this thing straight. And Obama can't have that. His party can't have that. No. We're going to censor him. And if we can't censor him, we're going to send a team of State Department funded Obama political hatchet men and women over to Israel to defeat him. He's going to call in the Black Caucus like he did to boycott Netanyahu. And of course, the liberal Jews in Congress, liberal first, second, and third, America's not even on the table, let alone Israel. Well, they throw in. I've seen their likes before. That's right, I said it. I've seen their likes before. And you know damn well what I'm talking about. I'll be right back.
Marc Levin.
Not to complain, but you should see the emails I'm getting, even during the course of the program. Mark, so-and-so, your friend has a book. Will you have them on? Mark, did you call State Senator so-and-so? Mark, will you do an interview for such and such? Mark, I'm very much a loner. Plus, there's 1,000 things to do to prepare for the program, to write my own book, for Landmark Legal Foundation, and people just say, and by the way, a lot of these people, it's the 500th time they're making a request. And if you say no once, it's, oh, look at that jerk, prima donna. Rush used to talk about this, and he's right. I don't have anybody to block all these people. Maybe that's what I have to do. My focus is you in this radio program. It's not all these little side issues with different organizations and authors and trips and purposes and media outlets and so forth. This is my job, to talk to you, and in return, to listen to you when we take callers and so forth. It's not to do all this other stuff, which is distracting as hell. Harry's Razors, this is a magnificent product. When did shaving get so expensive and inconvenient? That trip to the store, the cost of the blades, not to mention the hassle of finding a store clerk to unlock the case. They keep the blades back there like it's gold bullion. It's because they're too expensive. It's enough to discourage anyone. Well, Harry's has a solution. Why not let Harry's.com take care of your shaving needs? Their shaving set starts at just $15, and it includes this razor that is beautiful. 3 high-quality German blades. They are actually made in Germany. And your choice of Harry's shave cream or foaming shave gel. Shipping is always free, and a high-quality shave is guaranteed. And right now, for you in my audience, you can get $5 off their first purchase. You can. When you use my code LEVIN, L-E-V-I-N, at checkout. $5 off your first purchase. So go to Harrys.com, enter my code LEVIN, L-E-V-I-N, at checkout to get the $5 off your first order. And that's right, with my code LEVIN, you can get a month's worth of shaving for just $10. Give it a try. The blade is beautiful. It just works very smoothly. That's Harrys.com, enter code LEVIN, enter it at the checkout, change the way you shave forever. Don't you dread shaving? Most people dread shaving. Well, this makes it really easy. You'll get a very comfortable shave. High-quality shave. That's Harrys.com. Enter code LEVIN at checkout. Let us go to Heather, Alexandria, Virginia, the great WMAL. Go. Hello, Heather. Are you there? Let us go to Bob, Centennial, Colorado, XM Satellite. Go.
Good evening, Mark. I just have a quick comment for you. I heard you talking about Benjamin Netanyahu, and I just wanted to say that I think he is the bravest, most courageous leader in the world, and America would be blessed to have him as our president.
Yeah, I'd make the swap, but things don't work that way, you know.
I know.
I'm sure Israel would be scared to death. This guy doesn't believe in the country he represents here, Obama. Look, here's the deal. Netanyahu knows he cannot make a mistake. He knows he simply cannot give Obama what he wants, which is Israel surrendering so much territory it can't defend itself. He knows he cannot do that. And Obama just constantly berates behind the scenes, in the shadows, leaks to the press. And the people Obama put around him are no better. When I said Obama is an anti-Semite, I didn't say that to be controversial or provocative. I mean it. And I do mean it. Thank you for your call. How else do you explain this? This absolutely outrageous conduct by this president. That country's not our enemy, they're our ally. Meanwhile, he bends over backwards to work with the Islamo-Nazi genocidal regime in Tehran. Matter of fact, if I can find it, I have a story here. Let's see, it's got to be here somewhere. Here, top Iranian nuke negotiator ordered to stop screaming at Kerry. Washington Free Beacon. You're going to want to hear this one when we come back. So, Mashed Potato Face goes in there and he meets with John Kerry. Well, that is John Kerry. Meets with the Iranian Foreign Minister, Javad Zarif. And this guy's screaming at him. He's disrespecting him. And Mashed Potato Face takes it. I'll be right back.
He's here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Marc Levin.
Hello, everybody. Marc Levin here. This is Hour 2. Our number, 877-381-3811. 877-381-3811. Top Iranian nuke negotiator ordered to stop screaming at Kerry. Iran's foreign minister and lead negotiator in nuclear talks with the U.S. has been ordered by the Islamic Republic's supreme leader to stop shouting and yelling at Secretary of State John Kerry during negotiations. Iranian Foreign Minister Javad Zarif told his country's state-controlled media in a recent interview that the Ayatollah Ali Khomeini has instructed him to stop yelling at Kerry and other top U.S. officials during the talks. Reports of his temper first emerged in the Iranian press last November when the U.S. and Iran agreed to extend talks through June of this year. Zarif is said to frequently shout at Western diplomats with such force that bodyguards have been forced to enter the negotiation room. During one incident described by Iranian officials to the press, European Union Foreign Policy Chief Catherine Ashton, a chief Western negotiator, admitted that Zarif had been shouting and she had gotten used to it. Abbas, Yabba-dabba-doo, an Iranian diplomat who's also a member of the negotiating team, is reported to have said in an interview that during past negotiations in Geneva, Zarif shouted at Kerry and spoke to him in a manner unprecedented in the history of U.S. diplomacy. You know, folks, this shows weakness. And the Iranian regime, the Islamo-Nazi regime, sees weakness. And I see weakness and you see weakness. This is so frustrating. That these damn fools theoretically represent us. It's just so damn frustrating. But Bibi Netanyahu went to the New York Post, or the New York Post, I should say, took an excerpt from the Prime Minister's remarks on Monday. So Netanyahu didn't go to the Post. The Post took an excerpt from his remarks. And he was kind of summarizing why he's going to speak in the United States. I thought you might want to hear it since you'll not hear it from anybody else. And remember, you don't have to be Jewish to appreciate this. This is the Churchill of our times. This is the guy who's standing up to these regimes. No excuses. I want to hear from him. I want to hear from Harper in Canada. I want to hear from Sisi in Egypt. I want to hear from the king in Jordan. I want to hear from these people. Not Obama droning on and on and on about how horrible Americans are. He says, why am I going to Washington? Because as Prime Minister of Israel, it's my obligation to do everything in my power to prevent the conclusion of a bad deal that can threaten the survival of the state of Israel. Wow, how radical. The current proposal to Iran would endanger Israel. It would enable Iran to build its first nuclear device within an unacceptably short time, and it would allow Iran to build an industrial capability to enrich uranium that could provide the fuel for many bombs in the coming years. A regime that openly calls for Israel's destruction would thus have finally the means to realize its genocidal aims. Now, mind you, I'm not opposed to any deal with Iran. I'm opposed to a bad deal with Iran, and I believe this is a very bad deal. This is why they're trying to cut off Netanyahu at the knees. You and I don't even know what's in this deal. Obama's keeping it secret. Just like his Federal Communications Commission is keeping secret this massive Internet regulatory rule that they're going to put out at the end of this month. And many of us are sitting here like it's no big deal. It's a huge deal, and it's going to affect each and every one of you. And yet we won't even know what it is until it's implemented. What kind of country has this become? What are the terms they're negotiating with Iran? Why shouldn't we know? And why shouldn't Congress know? If it's so great, why don't they make it public? He said, I'm certainly not opposed to negotiations. I am, by the way. On the contrary, no country has a greater stake in the peaceful resolution of the Iranian nuclear question than does Israel. But the current proposal won't solve the problem. It will perpetuate and aggravate the problem. It will provide a path for Iran to become a nuclear power. And so it's very important that I speak about this in Washington, said Netanyahu. Why am I going to Congress, he said? Because Israel has been offered the chance to make its case on this crucial issue before the world's most important parliament. Because a speech before Congress allows Israel to present its position to the elected representatives of the American people and to a worldwide audience. Because Congress has played a critical role in applying pressure to the Iranian regime, the very pressure that brought the Ayatollahs to the negotiating table in the first place. And because Congress may well have a say on any final deal. He said, I think the real question is, how could any responsible Israeli prime minister refuse to speak to Congress on a matter so important to Israel's survival? How could anyone refuse an invitation to speak on a matter that could affect our very existence when such an invitation is offered? Why go now? Well, the deadline for reaching an agreement with Iran is March 24th. Now, see that? I hadn't thought about that. The reason he's speaking on March 3rd is because 3 weeks later, that's the deadline on the deal. Now, isn't that interesting? You haven't heard that in the media, have you? Oh, look how he's timing it 2 weeks before the Israeli election. He's timing it 3 weeks before the end of the deal. Netanyahu said that date drives the speech. Now is the time for Israel to make its case before it's too late. So he'd be making his case 21 days before the end of the negotiations. That's why he's coming on March 3rd. And yet look how the Obama administration has spun it. And the putrid media burps up exactly what they're told. Oh, he's doing this to get elected. Oh, he's doing this to get elected. Netanyahu went on. Would it be better to complain about a deal that threatens the security of Israel after it's signed? It's more responsible to speak out now, to try to influence the negotiations while they're still going on. This is what Obama hates. Somebody standing up to him. He said the whole point of Zionism is that the Jewish people would no longer be spectators to the decision-making that determines our fate. We were once powerless. We were once voiceless. We couldn't even speak on our own behalf. Well, now we can, and we do. The answer to all three questions is the same. Why Congress? Why Washington? Why now? Because of the grave dangers posed by the deal on the table right now. I don't see this in partisan terms. The survival of Israel is not a partisan issue. It concerns everyone, all supporters of Israel, of every political stripe. Now remember, he's giving this speech, or did, in Israel. The fight against militant Islamic terrorism is not a partisan issue. The battle against the Islamic State, which just beheaded 21 Christians, is not. And the effort to prevent the Islamic Republic from building nuclear weapons, that's not a partisan issue either. The pursuit of nuclear weapons by Iran is the most urgent security challenge facing the world. The greatest danger facing humanity is the possibility that any movement or any regime of militant Islam will arm itself with weapons of mass destruction. Don't you wish our president would speak this way? Well, that ain't going to happen. He's going to attack us for discriminating against Muslims, while Muslims are slaughtering Muslims, and Jews and Christians and atheists and other people in this country are saying we've got to stop that. Jeez. He said everything we see in our region now will pale by comparison. Everything that we see in Europe will pale by comparison. When a militant Islamic regime that is rampaging through the region right now, that's what Iran is doing. It's conducting a rampage through the region. When such a regime has nuclear weapons, the whole world will be in peril. Look at what Iran is doing now without nuclear weapons. States are collapsing, and Iran is plunging forward. It already controls 4 capitals. He means in Yemen, in Syria, in Iraq, and of course, in Iran. It's trying to envelop Israel with 3 terrorist tentacles, Hezbollah in Lebanon, Hamas in Gaza, and now it's trying to build with its Hezbollah proxies in Third Front in the Golan Heights. With nuclear weapons, such a regime would be infinitely more dangerous to everyone, not only to Israel. Can I guarantee that my speech in Congress will prevent a dangerous deal with Iran from being signed? Honestly, I don't know. No one knows. But I do know this. It's my sacred duty as Prime Minister of Israel to make Israel's case. On March 3rd, I'll fulfill that duty, representing all the citizens of Israel before the 2 houses of Congress. And I'll make the best case I can, knowing that our case is just, that our case is sound, and that our case offers the best hope to resolve the issue peacefully. The Italians are getting ready for ISIS. The Islamo-Nazis in Libya are now bleeding over the border into Tunisia. This force is on the move. This force is on the move. And Obama's going to arm one of the caliphates with nuclear weapons. I'll cut to the chase. I'll say it myself. Obama's going to arm one of the caliphates with nuclear weapons. We shouldn't even have to hear Netanyahu to rise up against this. This is serious stuff. It is serious. This is life and death. For us, for our kids and our grandkids. And some president after this one is going to have to unravel it all, because this president, he's just gone. He's out there on a limb on his own. I'll be right back.
Marc Levin.
Well, you ready for this one? Over at Conservative Review, our buddy Daniel Horowitz, he's looked at the hard and cold numbers. He says, what's happening to our republic? Countries like Mexico are now able to dictate our immigration policy. Illegal aliens are able to disrupt congressional proceedings with impunity. And now Saudi Arabia is able to control our colleges. Our colleges. On average, we've issued over 100,000 new green cards to individuals from predominantly Muslim countries every year over the past decade. I said on average, we've issued over 100,000 new green cards to individuals from predominantly Muslim countries every year over the past decade. He writes, perhaps the most jarring increase comes from student visas issued to Saudi Arabian nationals. According to the Institute of International Education, based on data compiled by the State Department, we have granted roughly 54,000 student visas to Saudi Arabian nationals during the 2013-2014 academic year alone. This represents an eye-popping 935% increase since 2001. You don't think this stuff's purposeful by this administration? A 935% increase since 2001. Saudi Arabia is now the fourth leading country of origin for foreign students in the U.S., with the rate of increase growing every year. In total, we have admitted 221,316 students from Saudi Arabia since 2001. Now, here's the deal. Let's say, under these temporary student visas, some of these students decided to stay and didn't go home. And let's say that they stayed more than 5 years. Well, guess what? Under the Obama unconstitutional fiat and under comprehensive immigration reform, bipartisan, that came out of the Senate, most of them would get to stay. Just learn English, just pay a little tax, just behave yourself, and then we'll put you in the front of line. I mean, what are we going to do? Deport these people? Yes! You came here and you're supposed to be a student and then go home, and you don't go home? So after college, you stay? Get your ass out of here. That's the way it's supposed to work. Everybody comes for love. Jeb Bush is the dumbest of the Bushes, by the way. They're trying to portray him as he's the dumbest. They come out of love, you know. So the missus tells me. And this is how we're going to build our economy. More low-skilled, unskilled, illegal aliens to compete with your kids so they can't get jobs, low-wage jobs, to hurt the lower middle class. Then we're going to bring in more and more scientists and others from all overseas to compete with your kids when they graduate from college because the labor's cheaper. And we all know the millionaires and billionaires in the Silicon Valley, they should get whatever kind of labor they want. And, of course, we've always invited people into this country from everywhere, anytime they want to come, any way they want to come, however long they want to stay, right? Wrong. Once again, the primary principle that undergirds immigration is what is in the best interests of the United States. And the people of the United States get to decide that. Not the U.S. Chamber of Crony Capitalism, not that slob at the AFL-CIO, not all the morons in the Republican and Democrat leadership. You get to decide. And you have voted over and over again. And with modern-day polling and surveys, you've told them time and again that enough is enough. But apparently it's not. Student visas all over the place, particularly the Middle East, and especially Saudi Arabia. Don't be nervous. No. They're our allies, don't you know? Oh, yes. A bunch of those 9/11 terrorists, they overstayed their visas. Maybe they should have been deported. Huh? Yeah, maybe they should have, I think. And, of course, these students are being subsidized by the Saudi government, by the inbreds who run that government. Oh, what did I say? I said the truth. That's another fake country, Saudi Arabia. Where do those borders come from? Oh, we just thought we'd set them up. Of course, their borders are sacrosanct. All the Arab borders, they're sacrosanct. They don't have to negotiate. No. Hey, 2 states. Hey, 3 states. No state solution. Just the final solution when it comes to the Jews in Israel, as I see it. But in our own country, we are importing as many students with their visas as possible, and I'm sure now that we'll bring in some refugees from territories controlled by ISIS, ISIL, Schmeisel, and Kapaisel, a.k.a. the Islamo-Nazis. That'll be cool. I'm sure our bureaucracy will get that all figured out. You're coming to the country. Yes, I am. Do you mean us any harm? No, we don't. Well, welcome. And while you're here, in-state tuition, Social Security, Medicare, Earned Income Tax Credit. Oh, and also, we've set up a hotline. If you feel you're being discriminated against, please use the hotline. It's in 412 different languages to serve you. Because we all know, as Jay Johnson has said, and Eric Holder has said, and Obama has said, this is a hateful place. Watch out for the Christians, especially the white males. I'll be right back.
More logic than allowed by law. The Marc Levin Show. Call now at 877-381-3811.
If you're like many Americans, you know the Constitution is crucial. But do we really understand the rights and liberties it allows you to enjoy every day? Hillsdale College has declared 2015 the year of the Constitution. Nobody teaches it better than Hillsdale College. In fact, every student, regardless of the major they take, is required to master a course on the Constitution. And now this very course is available to you online for free. Every one of you, I think, owes it to yourselves to understand the Constitution. After all, we can't have freedom without it. The course is Constitution 101, and it is provided free as part of Hillsdale's basic mission to defend liberty. Register for free right now, today. And once you start the course, you'll receive a new lecture every week that you can watch whenever you want, along with readings, discussion boards, and more. And I would encourage you to have family members involved, too. It's just so very important to counter the negative and the hostile indoctrination of your children and the media, public schools, and so forth. So register for free today. Make 2015 your year to learn the Constitution. Sign up for Constitution 101 for free. Go to levinforhillsdale.com. That's Levin for Hillsdale. That's levinforhillsdale.com. You've heard me talk about it before. This is a magnificent course. It really is. And it's actually very invigorating. It may get you started on a new path. levinforhillsdale.com. So where do we look for relief from the insanity that's going on all around us? I just told you about all these student visas, almost 250,000 of them, that have gone to Saudi students. I've just told you about all these student visas that have gone to, Muslim areas and third world areas and so forth and so on. So be it. I've also told you that millions and millions of people are here who have violated their visas, whether it's their student visas or their work visas or their tourist visas or what have you. We have a serious, well thought out, well integrated immigration law. When people say it's time to fix our laws are perfectly fine, ladies and gentlemen. They are perfectly fine. You know what? One day, today's Thursday, I think next week I'm going to pick a day and spend an hour on our immigration laws. So you know what I'm talking about. Because most of you, you're busy all day and you just hear these politicians, our immigration laws are broken. They're not broken. They're broken. The politicians. We don't need comprehensive immigration reform. We need comprehensive, let's kick their asses out of office reform. And this is why I won't be voting for Jeb Bush, among several other reasons. Cut 11, go.
I think we're going to see a hollowed core in Europe unless we begin to see strategies to create high sustained economic growth again. And the demography of these countries is, including ours, is one of the big challenges, which is why immigration reform for our country is so hugely important, because we don't have, race is not a national identifier in this country. We're 34 flavors. We are as diverse can get, and that is a huge strength. Looking over the horizon right now, where multiculturalism kind of creates pockets of despair in Europe in many cases, the United States has this potential of being young and dynamic again. If Europe embraced that similar kind of approach, I think that they could see economic growth as well.
This is amazing to me. People come into this country illegally. Many of them go right on our welfare rolls, state and federal. Many of them are a drain on the economy. Many of them are very young, so they'll be a drain on the economy potentially for a long time. Now, some of them may turn out to be brilliant entrepreneurs. That's fine. But this is amazing to me. Not once does the man talk about assimilation. Not once does the man talk about the American culture. Not once does the man talk about the balkanization that goes on with these ethnic front groups and these federal court decisions and the EEOC and all the rest. All these things are in place for the purpose not of unifying and assimilating, but dividing and breaking up. It's as if the man doesn't even understand our own laws and what the hell's going on. He says race is not a national identifier. We're 34 flavors. We're as diverse can be. We may be diverse as diverse can be, but we have to be united in our culture. That doesn't mean people ignore their ancestry, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't, you don't, and so forth. It means, however, that we're Americans with an American culture. We're not Russians, we're not Germans, and whatever. And when you have a country like Mexico, and I explained this yesterday, actually interfering in our internal activities in this country, not with the Presidente, the El Presidente of Mexico giving a speech in front of Congress, no. Were they going into our court systems? Were they affecting policy? Where they used their consulates to hand out birth certificates? Where they threatened decisions by federal judges? This is absolutely unacceptable. So when you have foreign governments involved in our internal affairs to make sure we are balkanized, who keep promoting dual citizenship or single citizenship in their own country, none of this stuff Jeb Bush says is possible. And I'm telling you, he's the dumbest of the Bushes. He is the dumbest of the Bushes. He says the demographic problem that Europe has. So what are you going to do? Look what they did. Open borders. Now they're trying to close them. The UK, Germany, France. Disasters. Absolute disasters. They're not assimilating. They've lost their cultures. Is that what we want to become? Is that what we want to do? And yet jerks like this guy, that's exactly what will happen. His family will be fine. They'll have their third president. They'll have their dynasty. Oh, look, open the history books. This man is unacceptable. He's unacceptable. Oh, but he is a conservative. They tell us that. Who told us that today? Somebody who claims to be. I can't even remember who it is. Look at his record as governor. I'm listening to the man speak right now. Oh, no, look at his record as governor. And, of course, only governors can be presidents because they have, this long, deep experience in foreign policy. No, we want a conservative. And we'll have to rally around one or two of these conservatives. Not immediately, but relatively early on, so we're not picked to pieces like they constantly do. And I'm really getting annoyed with, 10 conservatives saying, oh, it's me, and me. Too damn many candidates. People who tell you, the more the merrier, bullcrap. There need to be some, but the more the merrier. I mean, we don't need a coliseum full of candidates. Because then the name wins. Yeah, there are morons in the Republican Party. Ooh, that's Bush. Oh, I always vote Bush. When I get a chance, I vote Bush. What do you know about him? Well, good guy. What do you know about him? Whatever. Bush. Yeah, vote Bush. Yeah, we've got those people too, you know. Oh, Clinton, Bush. Oh, that's Clinton, Bush, Clinton. It's like a rerun. Well, the last time, Clinton beat the Bush. That didn't sound right. Let's see. No, I won't go there. I got a million of them, but I won't go there, Mr. Producer. All right, let's see here. Let us go to John on Long Island, Sirius Satellite. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fine, sir. How are you this evening?
Very well, thank you.
Great. I'm currently in the Army, and I'm a Chief Warrant Officer. I'm in my 19th year. And
God bless you.
Thank you, sir. I wanted to take this conversation just a little bit different. There's a phenomenon that's taking place in the media, on TV, in print by so many people that just seem to want to describe us as boots. We're boots on the ground. This is all.
By the way, I don't believe I've ever used that phrase. I don't even like it myself. It's so weird.
Yeah, well, I'd like to go a little farther than weird, sir. I'd like to call it demeaning. So many of my comrades, we all feel the same way. If something happens to me, my mom and my dad are not going to call me boots. They're not going to put my boots in a box. They're going to.
John, I don't disagree with you, but we do have men in the military and from the military who say it.
Yes,
it's not just. Hold on. Let me just settle down. It's not just civilians who say that. It's military personnel too. I don't disagree with you, but I really don't think this is that big of an issue.
Okay.
I think the bigger issue is whether or not we send men and women over there to deal with this enemy, and I've concluded we have to. And I think it's very sad. It's a sad fact, but I don't think we should fight this war the way we fought the last one. I think we should use heavy bombers. I think we should use what we have to our advantage and stop sending our young men and women into a battle with 14,000 different regulations tied around their throats. No way. It's time to unleash. I think that's what we should focus on.
Well, certainly I don't disagree. I mean, there are times where I think we all feel that we're just kind of spinning our wheels and we're really not accomplishing anything. And, you know, we seem to never get any information. And not that you always do in the military. We all know that, you know, we're here to follow orders, but it just seems to me
you're being abused by this president. I have to be honest. You are. And guys like you, men and women who are serving now, it's more difficult than normal. It really is, because your commander-in-chief is a louse. You don't have to say it. I'll say it. So it's particularly difficult right now when you have to keep looking over your shoulder to see if your health care is going to be cut, if you get your big 1% increase, while illegal immigrants are getting Social Security, Medicare, and earned income tax credits. It's got to be infuriating. And
well,
so when a guy like you stays in the military, I think that really is service.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to complete my career if they're going to put me out. We see it happening with commissioned officers at this point, with captains and majors being, they call them pink slips. You're getting a pink slip, and many are still serving overseas in Afghanistan, and it's just, we just don't understand what's going on.
John, hold on. Let's slow down. Explain that. People are getting quote unquote pink slips while they're in a combat theater.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
In other words, they're being fired in essence while they're in a combat theater, so they have to come back. It's extraordinary. And not only that, John, we're losing all the experience, all the training that all these people have, and will be so expensive and difficult to redevelop over time, as it's going to be needed in the future.
Well, you're absolutely correct, Mark, and you usually are. And all the top leaders are either being forced out, the generals and colonels, and being forced out. And I don't know who's taking their place. I see people like I watch TV and I see the Pentagon spokesman, the admiral, and I just kind of shake my head.
He's awful. Awful.
it's just unbelievable that I hear this stuff coming from him and others as well. All the people that I looked up to as a young soldier are all gone, and it's just terrible. It's like we don't have any leadership. It's like I'm going to get orders, but I'm getting orders from people like the gal in the Defense Department that looks like she just graduated high school, and I'm going like, what do these people know? What do they understand about what I have to do, about what my job is, and what I have to accomplish? And do they really want me to accomplish it? These are the things that we think about. Am I here to actually accomplish a job, or am I just being used? And that's why I brought the boots thing up. Am I just being considered a pair of boots to be used like a checkerboard or a chessboard? Just throw me around and something happens, you ship the boots back home. Maybe that's what I mean more, Mark, than...
Right.
I know I'm probably being a little sensitive, but...
No, I get it. John, I got to go. I have a hard break. I apologize. Keep your chin up, brother, and thank you for all you're doing. I'll be right back.
Marc Levin.
You know, that gentleman who called, John, has been serving 19 years. I really sympathize with him. It's interesting that a guy like McCain keeps talking about boots on the ground. Boots on the ground. But he's right. Did you sleep your way through President's Day and miss the mattress sales? Doubtful, since you're not getting much sleep on your old, lumpy mattress. It really does have to go. Do what I did. Get a Casper mattress. Trust me here, it really is worth it. Don't get ripped off and test a mattress for a couple of seconds with some guy standing over your shoulder. Looks kind of weird. Could be Joe Biden, you never know. Try your Casper at home for 100 nights risk-free. And if you don't love it, well, they come up to your home and they pick it up. And they'll refund you everything. No questions asked. You're not going to get a deal like that. You're not going to get service and support like that from anybody. And if you don't love it, as I said, they come up to your home and they'll pick it up, no question asked, and they'll refund it. I love my Casper. I'm getting the best night's sleep I've ever had. And I believe you will too. And they guarantee it. They guarantee it. To try your Casper mattress for 100 nights risk-free with free shipping, go to Casper.com, use referral code MARK, and get $50 towards the purchase of your mattress. Now, that's CASPER.com, CASPER.com, referral code MARK, Casper.com. I'm telling you, you're going to love this mattress. I love this mattress. I've never loved a mattress before, Mr. Producer. It is a great mattress, and it's really cool the way it arrives in your home. I'm not going to give it away, and how you can set it up. And I never gave a thought to returning it. First night, boom. Just great. All right. Let's take a call. Well, actually, I want to play Jeb Bush one more time with his 34 flavors line. Cut 11, go.
I think we're going to see a hollowed core in Europe unless we begin to see strategies to create high-sustained economic growth again. And the demography of these countries is, including ours, is one of the big challenges, which is why immigration reform for our country is so hugely important, because we don't have, race is not a national identifier in this country. We're 34 flavors.
I thought there was something called E pluribus unum. Now it's E pluribus 34 flavors. What is this, an ice cream shop? And they have more than 34 flavors anyway, don't they? What is it, 57? I don't remember. Maybe it is 34 flavors. But this is the kind of superficial, stupid talk that demonstrates to me that this is the dumbest of the Bushes, that he doesn't even understand this issue, while he's supposed to be the smartest guy on this issue. Well, let me ask Jeb Bush. So let's say a bunch of these Saudi students overstay their visas. Should they be deported? Hello, should they be deported? Yes or no? Let's say other people have overstayed their visas. Their work visas, not student visas. Should they be deported? You see, when you're saying that it's very, very important that these people be here because we're a diverse country, that doesn't address a damn thing. Or that they should be here because of our demography, that doesn't address a damn thing. Should people who break our laws, like our visa laws, be able to stay regardless of diversity or demography? I told you he's the dumbest Bush. Don't blame me. I had nothing to do with it.
He's here. He's here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Marc Levin.
Hello, everybody. Hour 3, and I am Marc Levin. Our number, 877-381-3811, 877-381-3811. Obamacare. Do you remember Obamacare? Well, some of you are really going to remember it, because you're going to get kicked in the genitalia, may I say. Respectfully, of course. Some of you are going to owe thousands and thousands of dollars and cannot afford it because you will not have purchased your government-mandated health care. Isn't liberalism compassionate? Others of you have purchased health care that is inferior, and you'll blame your insurance company even though your insurance company has nothing to do with it. The insurance companies are compelled to offer certain types of health care and no more. And no more. Isn't it great? Now, the HHS secretary, her name is Sylvia Burwell. Most of you have never heard of her. Claims that 11.4 million people have signed up for Obamacare. That's not correct. They're counting Medicaid as Obamacare. They're expanding the roles of Medicaid. Medicaid was supposed to be for people who are dirt poor, who don't have 2 pennies to rub together. And of course, like all the federal programs, it has massively expanded. Now, you can actually have a family of 4 that earns almost $90,000 a year getting Medicaid. I'm not saying those of you who do that are. I'm saying you could. And we actually have Republicans who think this is a great thing. John Kasich in Ohio, being touted as another conservative. Oh, he's a conservative. Oh, yes, no, he definitely is. He's a Reaganite. But he's not. And he skirted the legislature in Ohio and expanded Medicaid massively and runs around telling you, well, we can't be heartless, can we? No, let's just bankrupt the country. Then everything collapses. Is that heartless, John? Just asking. So when they say, oh, we have 11.4 million, that's our preliminary estimate, of people who are now have gotten health care thanks to the Affordable Care Act, much of that is thanks to Medicaid, which is as old as 1966, and is broke. Broke. No money. I keep talking about this. The trustees for Medicare and Medicaid every single year are compelled by law to issue a report with the assistance of their actuaries, in the case of Medicare and Social Security. And we've had one report after another, and you won't see this on national news. It's just too boring. Hey, where's Brian Williams? But anyway, whatever happened to that inflated football? Oh, that went on for what, 10 days? That was cool. Not here. Or did I tell you the recent meatball sandwich I had? Oh, yeah, can't keep talking about hard stuff. Let's talk about meatball sandwiches. No, let's not say we did. Although I happen to like them. No, so we have Obamacare here, and the big lie is, well, how can we unravel this when we have 11.5 million new people on Obamacare? And again, this is the Republican argument in Congress with their consultants and on TV and so forth and so on. The I can't crowd. We have to show we can govern, which means we have to show we can spend, borrow, tax, and massively increase the debt just like the liberals. That's what they mean. Oh, look at this. We can govern too. Oh, but no, but the answer, you see, is importing more poor people. 34 flavors. That'll fix it. Dim bulb. So here's the HHS Secretary, Sylvia Burwell, talking to Obama. Cut 13, go.
Our preliminary estimate is that there are 11.4 million Americans who have either signed up or re-enrolled in this open enrollment period, which started November 15th.
That's great. It gives you some sense of how hungry people were out there for affordable, accessible health insurance.
All right, stop. What's with the music? Sounds like they're at a Mexican restaurant or something. Oh, stage video? I remember the good old days, news conferences and so forth, not these Mao-like stage videos where they feed us the propaganda. Hey, what's happening to the FCC and the Internet? Well, you got to pass it before you know what's in it. What about Obamacare? Oh, we got to pass that before it's, you know what's in it. What about all these EPA? Oh, we got to institute them before you know what's in it. That's how democracy works. Anyway, it sounds like a very bad staged video. The audio was horrible, and I'm sure the video was worse, given the participants. Just my opinion. Got 11.4 million Americans. They must have been thirsty for this. Oh, they're thirsty for it. Yes, because if they don't sign up for it, ladies and gentlemen, they're going to have the hell taxed out of them. They must have really been thirsty for this. No, it's a mandate, you idiot. That's the problem. It's not voluntary. In some cases, people are going to have to pay 2% of their income. So they have a gun to their head. Whoa, they're thirsty for this. Let's hear Andrea Mitchell, cut 14, speaking to the ever-gracious HHS Secretary Sylvia Burwell. Cut 14, go.
What are you going to do about the 6 million people who are going to have to pay tax penalties, who didn't enroll, they missed the deadline? Are you going to take a political hit sometime after April 15th when they do owe that money?
Stop right there. Ooh, Andrea. What happened, Andrea? Little truth serum? Yes. What about those 6 million people who have to pay tax penalties who didn't enroll and missed the deadline? Should we round them up? What should we do with them? So here we have people who Obama says can't afford to purchase health care on their own. And if they don't purchase health care, they're going to be massively taxed. Oh, liberaldom. Go ahead.
Who have not taken the personal responsibility and can't afford it to sign up.
Whoa. For those folks who have not taken the personal responsibility and can afford it. So we've gone from Obama saying people were hungry for this. People were hungry for the Affordable Care Act. Hey, but what about the 6 million who weren't hungry? Well, they had to be force-fed, that's all. We had to hook them up, make sure they got what we told them to get. Or we're going to punish them, tax them. Go ahead.
Those folks who are waiting for the chance when they actually have something happen and then use indigent care, and then that care cost is spread to the rest of us, for those folks there will be a fee. We want to make things as easy as possible, and we're going to work to do that.
All right, idiot. How about for those folks? What's with the word folks in this administration? The terrorists. The folks over there. The taxpayer. Oh, the folks. We're not folks, you idiot. We're your boss. Now that said, what about the folks who had their health care, were paying for their health care, or their employer was paying for their health care, or there were shared payments for their health care, and we were perfectly happy with our insurance? What about those folks, like most of us, where we lost it thanks to you jerk, and the president, and the jerk before you? Supercilious. Sebelius. We took our personal responsibility. We didn't need you, and yet you nationalized this industry. But they want you to say, yeah, those people that just walk into the emergency rooms and get it for free. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? They still walk into the emergency rooms and get it for free. And many of them aren't even American citizens. Did you know that? Yes, you did know that. Well, doesn't Burwell tell you that? Because she doesn't want to tell you that. What they do is they ignore all the facts and then focus in on some little aspect of it. Those people, those folks who've not taken personal responsibility and can afford it to sign up for care, those folks, who are waiting for the chance when they have something happen, then use indigent care, and that causes spread to the rest of us. For those folks, there'll be a fee. There'll be a fee. Here I have an idea. Rather than destroying health care, nationalizing it, destroying it for all of us, including those of us, we folks who took the responsibility, had health care, and were perfectly happy with it, till you screwed up, you jerk. Burwell. Why is it then that people who go to an emergency rooms aren't required to pay a fee up front? You see what I'm saying, Mr. Producer? There's a federal law. If somebody goes in and uses the emergency room and claims indigency and can't afford it, they get it for free. And so what this woman is saying and what Obama says is, we shouldn't have to subsidize them. Great, then charge them. But charge them right there at the point of service. Can't do that. Why? Private sector. Well, Mark, what if they can't afford it? Over time, you can't afford it. We said the emergency room. I mean, if you're inpatient care for 5 months, that's a different issue. But we're talking about going in with a broken arm or a terrible flu or something like that, and then being sent home within 5 hours or something like that. That's what they're talking. Oh, they shouldn't be able to get away with that. Those folks who, they're waiting for indigent care. And by the way, indigent care, that's Medicaid, indigent care. They're bragging about expanding indigent care under Obamacare. These people are Svengalis. You know the game with the shell. You put a pea in it, they keep moving it around. Oh, where's the pea? Oh, look here. Or 3-card Monty, where they have cards up their sleeves. That's what liberalism is. That's what this woman is. That's what Obama is. We're so proud we've expanded it to 11.4 million people. Well, wait a minute. A lot of that's Medicaid, indigent care. We call it Obamacare. People are dying for this, so to speak. They're hungry for this. Look at all the people who signed up. Well, what about the 6 million who didn't? Well, those people we're going to tax because they should have signed up. And now they're going to use indigent care. Wait a minute, they're going to use Medicaid. You're just bragging about. Hey, that's indigent care when I say. It's Medicaid when I say. It's Obamacare when I say. Is that clear to everybody? I'll be right back.
Marc Levin.
Oh, man, my bad. Tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, all other times, all other places. You want to go to the Fox News channel, Hannity TV, I will be on. And I'm ready to roll. I really am. Enough is enough. And I do this about every other week now to get the message out. I just feel I've got to go the extra mile, and I'm going to go the extra mile. And I do it on the Hannity Show. He's a solid conservative. But anyway, I hope you'll watch 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. I will be on, and I intend to make my points. And if you can't watch, you can DVR it. Is that what you do? You DVR it? I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. You do whatever you need to do. I hope you'll join us. Let's see here. Let's take some calls. I haven't taken a lot of calls today, but my mouse is screwed up. Okay, there it is. Drew, Monterey, California, the great KCNR. Go.
Hey, thank you.
Yes, yes.
I'm...
Wait, is your name Drew?
My name is Drew, yes, sir.
All right, go right ahead.
Hey, I'm really kind of fired up about this. I hear this person, this Kathleen Sebelius redo, say that the people who haven't taken personal responsibility, as if I'm irresponsible, that can't afford it. Now, that's the part of that phrase that caught my interest, because what is their parameters for who can or cannot afford it? Like, Mark, for example, say I'm saving money, trying to buy a home, so I cut my corners a little bit, so I can save money here and there. And then once I get established in a home, that's good for my future. I'll save money again, and somewhere down the line I could afford better health care when there's a market with a lot of options. But options are being taken away, and they think it's in our best interest. I don't understand. And my main question, what is that parameter? Who can or cannot afford it?
Well, you're right. It's a rhetorical question, and the problem is it's a slippery slope, because now more and more they get into our wallets and they decide how much we can afford, what we can't afford, how they're going to punish us, what the policy is. And on the doctor's side, they're controlling how much time they can spend with a patient, what kind of it's just, we're bureaucratizing healthcare now. We're turning it into the DMV. It's just a disaster. All right, my friend, good points. Thank you for your call. Let's continue, shall we? I think we shall. Rose, Indianapolis, the great WFMD. Go.
Hello, Mark.
Yes, how are you?
I'm fine. The enemy within comes out of nowhere and takes over. I fear 1 year and 10 months. The reason I called, Mark, I think of you as Paul Revere yelling, "The Slomo Nazis are coming, the Slomo Nazis are coming." I wonder if everybody hears this. I wonder, did they do this to Paul Revere? Did he yell, and did they listen to him when he said that the British are coming?
Oh, hell yes, they listened. They had to get John Hancock and Sam Adams out of town because the British were coming for them.
True, but are they listening now to what you're saying?
I have no idea. But you know what? Just like them, they didn't sit back and say, gee, I hope everybody's listening. They did what they had to do. And we're doing what we have to do, come hell or high water. I've often thought, Rose, which is a beautiful name, it was my grandmother's name on my mother's side. I've often thought, and I think I had the answer the other week, why is it that calls for liberty and representative government and individuality and private commerce, why did it resonate so vigorously with the colonists? And yet it resonates with so many fewer people as a percentage of the population in our country today. And I think there's a lot of reasons for this, but one of the reasons is that so-called Republicans do not make the case, certainly not passionately. And so a lot of people don't even know about it, particularly young people. But it's more complicated than that. I don't have enough time. Thank you, Rose.
Conservative and proud of it. Call the Marc Levin Show at 877-381-3811.
Robert, Los Angeles, AM 870, The Answer, the great KRLA, live. Go.
Hi, Mark. It's a pleasure speaking with you, and you have a great show. Keep it up.
Thank you, sir.
I can vouch for the fact that the immigration system works, because in 2003, we concluded a 15-month process where we adopted a baby girl from China.
Mm-hmm.
The process was clear. It was laid out. It was doable by the average person. There were fees involved, but it was doable. And we were able to adopt a girl who I actually just dropped off her piano lesson a few minutes ago.
How about that? Congratulations.
Now, what I would like to say is there's an analogy to this that lays over exactly, that shows you how stupid this whole immigration reform concept is. And that is, it would be like saying that the banks are broken because you just can't walk in and take money anytime you want.
Right. I mean, I don't even think we need an analogy. Here's the deal. I think the American people are here, and the American people want nothing to do with this. But apparently we don't matter. The nature of our country, the nature of our culture, what happens to the welfare state, jobs and everything, this affects every aspect of this society, and apparently our opinion's irrelevant. The elites, the ruling class, call them whatever you will, I call them the masterminds, they intend to impose this on us in both parties. And then they go around patting themselves on the back, how compassionate they are, how wonderful they are, how they're not xenophobes or whatever phobes, when in fact they're destroying the country. They're undermining the country.
Well, Mark, I'd like to say one other thing, is that we have in this country a process where you have environmental impact statements, and the amount of immigration that's flowing into this country on an unregulated basis, on an unstopped basis, is causing massive
I know, but you see, here's the problem. While that makes a lot of sense, here's the problem. If they're not going to enforce straight up the immigration laws, what makes you think they're going to then come up with a clever way to use the environmental protection laws to do that which they can already do? See what I'm saying?
What I'm suggesting is that we need an environmental impact statement.
All right.
On the impact of...
You're not going to get an environmental impact statement from the EPA on illegal immigration. Obama controls the EPA, and as I said, why would they do that, do that for the purpose of excluding people when they have the power to do that already straight up under our immigration laws?
Agreed.
All right, my friend. But it is, folks, as people are upset, they're looking for ways to address this. But when you have a lawless president, and it's not just him, it's a lawless Congress too, and a lawless bureaucracy, then everything goes by the wayside. What do you do when the rule of law is meaningless? In fact, it's used to plunder. It's used to advance a leftist agenda, a big government agenda. And then they criminalize, efforts to object. If you want to stand up to Obamacare, you're going to pay a fine and you might be prosecuted. You want to stand up to illegal immigration, same thing. So all of a sudden, everything's turned upside down. The lawless are in control, and the lawless pretend that their lawlessness is the law. That means you've lost your country. That means you've lost your country. Kevin, Temple, Texas, the great WBAP. Go.
Hi, Mr. Levin. It's an honor to speak with you.
Thank you.
Well, I was going to bring up the point that I think one of the unintended consequences of these masterminds is that the American medical system for a really long time, and the doctors and nurses and everyone involved in it, have prided themselves on the care and compassion that they're able to give their patients, especially through the Hippocratic Oath and that process of, no matter who you are, what color, race, nationality, sex, doesn't matter, come on into our emergency room and we'll take care of you. And hearing these comments from the HHS secretary demonizing this sort of action and painting it in such a negative light.
Well, yeah, but you know what? The fact is, the reason why doctors and nurses and the hospitals are required to treat these people is because of a federal law. It's even more bizarre. They passed this law that requires the private sector to spend resources on people who, at least theoretically, can't pay for themselves. And now they're saying, these are deadbeats. Well, who created the deadbeats? The federal government did with this law.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
All right, thank you for your call. Starting to snooze off there a little bit, Mr. Producer. Let's see here. Let's take another call. Let's go to Erica, Alexandria, Virginia, the great WMAL. Hello, Erica.
Hi, Marc Levin. It's Heather. It's Erica. I am a listener of...
Hold on now. What? Are you sure your name's not really Heather?
Yeah, it is actually. I had my phone on mute when I...
Wait, what now? Is your name Heather or Erica?
My name is Heather. And
you wanted to disguise yourself?
Well, no. I tried calling in again a little bit after, and I got hung up on by your caller because I said that I had called in before, and I think he wasn't going to take
Wait a minute.
the call.
Hold on now. So you circumvented Mr. Call Screener by changing your name?
I did. I did because I really wanted to.
I have to decide whether to punish you or to allow you on the show. What should I do?
I think you should allow me because I think my question is a really good one, and I think I would love to hear your take on it. I'm a 3-year listener, and I've read Liberty and Tyranny, and I would love to hear your take on this.
Well, now I'm curious, Erica, Heather, go right ahead.
Okay. We've been hearing from the media that politicians think we need to have a long campaign to take out ISIS. And I know that you've said in the past we just need to go in and blow them up. What is the benefit for them to say that we need a long?
Now, hold on. Let me just slow down. It's not just go in there and blow them up, but we don't need a long campaign here. We're talking about, they're not hiding in jungles. They're out in the desert. We know there's some towns that they're in and so forth and so on. The way we've been fighting wars is really atrocious under George W. Bush and this clown. And I just reject it. I don't think we should be throwing our infantry in there all the time first and making minimal use of our bombers and other heavy military and weaponry. I just don't. I am more concerned about our troops on the ground than I do about the enemy and the other consequences on the ground. That's just my view. Now, if we're going to go to war, then go to war and kick the ass out of them and get the hell out of there.
Right. Do you think that we need to go in and train the locals there? Is that going to help? I mean, we tried that with...
No, listen. We need to go in there and defeat the enemy. Then if we want to train the locals and the yokels, fine. Defeat the enemy. We have to do it. Nobody else is going to do it. Not the French, not the Germans, not the Jordanians, not the Egyptians. No, we have to do it. And we have to do it for us. For several reasons. Number one, they're spreading. Number two, we're their ultimate target. Number three, they've hit us before. Number four, we don't want them to get nukes. Number five, look at the inhumanity and the genocide, and from time to time, you got to step up and deal with it. So I'm not looking for little coalitions, these phony political coalitions running to the UN. Oh, look who we got. We don't need anybody. Go in there, crush the bastards, and get the hell out.
Because if we don't, then they're going to come here if they're not already here.
They're already here. We were hit on 9/11, and we've been hit before, and we're going to get hit again. Huh? All right, Heather, Erica, thank you for your call. Not a bad caller, Mr. Call Screener, I have to admit. Let's see here. Paul in Indianapolis, the great WFDM. I love Indianapolis. I've said that before. I love that town. They got great restaurants. I like the way they have their sports complexes set up. Just a really nice town. How may I help you, Paul? By the way, the first and last time I was there was with the National Rifle Association. They asked me to speak. I haven't heard from them since. I guess they're mad at me. Anyway, go right ahead, my friend.
Yeah, I missed you at that NRA show, too. Sorry about that. But it's more of a dream. My question, is there a way possible, if people were willing to consider it, to just tax these immigrants, these illegal immigrants, so much that they would have no incentive to come or stay?
I know, but here's my point. And I certainly understand the effort by some to come up with ideas and so forth. Who's going to do that? The Republican Party and the Democrat Party are not going to do that. All they have to do is enforce existing immigration laws. They don't have to create taxes or anything else. But they don't want to do it. They're looking for ways around the very law that was passed by Congress and signed by prior president. You see what I'm saying? So whether we tax them or do this or that, it's not going to happen. Yellow. All right, Paul, I dazzled him with my genius. Let's move along, shall we? Catherine, Stuart, Florida, on the Marc Levin app. I know where Stuart, Florida is. That's a nice area. I've even been to your little downtown in Stuart, Florida. They have a little candy store there where the lady makes the candy herself. There's some nice little restaurants there. How are you, Catherine?
Oh, Mark, God bless you, and it is an honor to speak to you. I have been trying to get a hold of you all week. It's about the little girls and the young women, and my soul has been crying out because I have been over to Germany, and I have been to the camps. And when I walked through there, I was never the same person. Never. And I cannot stay here in this country. I want to go over and fight, not under this president. He is not my president either, Mark. And I'm a mother and I'm a grandmother, but I am a young grandmother and I know how to shoot. I'm an expert shot. And I want to go rescue those, and I will die trying because I am just...
Well, I don't anticipate you're going to be able to go over there, but I absolutely sympathize with your position. I don't know how this man goes to bed at night, this president. And when he talks about, his pretend son, like he's Jimmy Stewart with the pretend rabbit, in order to insert himself into the Trayvon Martin case or the Michael Brown case, which is despicable, trying to personalize it. I notice, and I've said this before, he doesn't do the same thing with those Nigerian girls, does he? Who could have been theoretically one of his daughters. I notice he doesn't do that and he doesn't say that because then he'd have to step up and do something about it.
He's a weak, spineless. I don't even consider him my president. I hope you go on Sean Hannity.
No, I'm going to be on. Well, I can't go every night, but I will be on 10 p.m. Eastern. You going to watch?
I love you, Mark. I pray for you and your family, and God bless your parents. They did such a fine job.
Yes, they
did. And I'm
All right.
blessed to be an American. I'm a patriot, and I will do anything I can to help our country.
All right, my friend. You hang in there. Yep, these are just incredible times. Incredibly pathetic. What this jerk is doing to our country. I'm sorry, I just shake my head in disbelief. I really do. How much damage one administration can do to a country. And then it doesn't even draw the attention of the Republican Party. I mean, other than superficial and stupid comments. Now they own Congress. They own Congress. And they pretend they can't do anything. Meanwhile, the minority, the Democrats in the Senate, they're running circles around Mitch McConnell. Oh, I don't know what we can do. I don't know. I need a new bill from the House. I'll be right back.
Marc Levin.
Last 3 or 4 minutes of the show. How about we just settle down a little bit? By the way, next hour, 10 p.m. Eastern, Fox News Channel, I will be on with Hannity. 7 p.m. Pacific time. I hope you'll watch. Let's listen to some of this. Janet Jackson. Stick with me. Come on. Just a minute. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Turn it up. Relax. Here we go. All right, let's phase it down. Every now and then, a little bit of music. Can't hurt anybody. You know, folks, the economic warning signs are growing. Look around the world. Did you know Japan is back in a recession? Looks like Greece is headed for a brick wall. The euro's not worth crap. Now China's in trouble. In our own country, they lie about the economy. Nobody's addressing this massive debt, except for these trustees that keep warning us that a catastrophe is ahead. The GAO, the CBO, same thing. And they just keep rolling along, giving out freebies to American citizens and illegal aliens alike. Printing money. Well, what are you going to do about it? Now, we can fight this politically. We have to fight this politically. But, I mean, what are you going to do about it for yourselves and your family? You work hard for what you have. And you have what you have not because of government, but because of your own physical and intellectual labor. Most of you aren't millionaires. Almost none of you are billionaires. So you have some assets. You have to protect yourself. You have to protect your family. You have to protect your future. Even though all this other stuff is swirling around us, which we have very little control over, you have complete control over your own finances. And so the answer is, from the Levin perspective, is to diversify. So maybe you have a home, maybe you have some other real estate, you have a pension, whether it's a private pension or something else, that invests in mutual funds, I don't know, stocks, bonds, whatever you have. Diversify. And in my humble opinion, one of the areas you need to look at is physical gold and silver. Because whatever happens to the dollar, whatever happens to your bank accounts, whatever happens to your property, the real estate, gold and silver are tangible assets. They're tangible assets. And so it's certainly worth considering acquiring some, as I have. And I put it away, just to hold it. Physical gold. Call Goldline today, 1-877-365-COIN. Ask them about the different payment options and read their important risk information to see if buying gold is right for you. And they have a wonderful Price Shield program, an Express IRA program you can ask them about. But don't wait. And for limited time, exclusively for you and just for calling them, Goldline will give you a George Washington $1 presidential coin, absolutely free, along with the free investor kit. They have professional account executives who will talk to you. They won't pressure you, but they can help walk you through it. Call them right now, 1-877-365-2646, 1-877-365-COIN, 1-877-365-COIN. Always an honor and a pleasure to be with you. I want to salute all the heroes out there. 1 hour from now, Fox News Channel. I hope you'll join me on the Hannity Show. And I'll see you tomorrow. I'm Marc Levin. 1 hour from now, Fox News Channel. I hope you'll join me on the Hannity Show. And I'll see you tomorrow. I'm Marc Levin.